My name is Aaron Prisk. I'm with the Canonical Community Team. I'm joined here by Jason Nucciarone.
Yep, and I'm from the Ubuntu High Performance Computing Team. You want to go to the next slide here? So why don't we, obviously, if you've never been to an UbuCon before, Aaron, why don't you give everyone a quick introduction to what it actually is?
Of course. So UbuCons, who've never attended one of these before, they are community-run gatherings where folks from around the Ubuntu and Linux world kind of come together, talk about their shared love and interest in Ubuntu. So it's a great place to learn, network, and just have some fun.
Yeah, and so one really interesting thing that's quite fun about UbuCons is that, even though we're here today in Pasadena having this event, actually UbuCons take place all around the globe, all times of the year. So if you kind of look at the map that we have up here, you'll actually see that we've kind of seen a nice resurgence of UbuCons starting to happen. So for example, we have mainstays like UbuCon Asia, currently working to bring back UbuCon Europe, and then we also have some more smaller local events that different loco teams are actually starting to organize as kind of like part of training events to like teach people how to use open source software, kind of in an Ubuntu context, but it's quite cool to see a lot of these local communities actually starting to come back together and really start, starting to organize events that, some are quite big with hundreds of attendees and some of them are, little small, gatherings of friends, 10, 20 people. So, yeah.
And Jason mentioned two of these. I have a photo on the left from UbuCon Asia and a photo from the right from this past year's UbuCon Latin America. So like Jason mentioned, some of these UbuCons are very small handful of friends meeting maybe at a pub, and some of these events are very large and organized. They have hundreds of attendees. UbuCon Asia was held at the Microsoft campus in Seoul, South Korea. It was an amazing event. It's a way to, I think, really showcase the incredible breadth and reach and the diversity of our community. And it helps really show our shared values that we have that stretch across cultures and boundaries and languages. And if you don't see UbuCon in your area, consider hosting one of your own. Like I mentioned, it doesn't need to be this incredibly large organized event. It can be a couple guys gathering around, gals and girls gathering around a couple beers to talk about the thing that they love, which is Ubuntu. So you can learn more about how to host an event and find that global map over on ubucon.org. So I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, and so, one thing, maybe if you're not aware, I know recently OpenStack just celebrated its 15th birthday, which was quite fun. They had a celebration last night with birthday cake, but also last year was another really big celebration as well. It was Ubuntu's 20th birthday, so quite not old enough yet to get a drink in the United States, but almost there this year. And so it was quite big, very exciting. We had the Ubuntu Summit in the Hague back in October, which was quite fun. Brought a lot of people around. We had a video from Nirav Patel of the CEO Framework, quickly switching out the main board. It was very cool. Everybody was clapping and, went crazy on YouTube and all that, which was quite fun. But yeah, no, it's been really transformative. We've had a lot of change within the community in the last 2 years. I know big thing that we talked about last year when we brought UbuCon back to SCaLE was the matrix migration that we have been currently going through. So actually starting to kind of, maybe I say this as a kid born in the 2000s, but starting to move away from some of those old deprecated chat platforms, IRC, and actually start to use things that, Gen Z people like me like to use, like Matrix, because I like using emojis to be like, oh, thank you, Eric, for fixing my package, or, just sending a rocket emoji when I think something's cool. So, yeah, very nice stuff. But yeah, no, so one thing that's actually really fun is that we have a very familiar voice who can go ahead and play a video here talking about 2 decades of the Ubuntu community. So hopefully the audio works here. There we go.
This October marks a very special milestone, 20 years of Ubuntu. Starting as a dream of a more human-friendly Linux desktop, a lot has changed in the past 2 decades. A lot of new releases, new platforms, and even a few new logos along the way. One thing that stayed the same was the heart of Ubuntu. You. A global community of users, enthusiasts, and contributors, all helping to spread the mission of changing the world through open source software. We couldn't have done it without you. So, where do we go from here? What do the next 20 years of Ubuntu hold? Perhaps powering the next generation of advanced robotics, helping us move more efficiently on the ground or up in space, aiding doctors and scientists in curing diseases and developing new forms of medicine, or maybe leading the effort to build a more equitable and sustainable world. But what do you think? What does Ubuntu mean to you, and where do we go from here? Let us know by visiting ubuntu.com/20 years.
Yeah, so, obviously you just saw that video there. Whoever did the voiceover, he sounds pretty cool. I hope I get to meet him one day and all that, Aaron. But yeah, no. So obviously we know why you're here today. So obviously in that video we had mentioned last October, but obviously it's March now. So, beware the Ides of March, as they say, poor Caesar. But now we know why you're really here. Obviously today, we have a packed schedule full of fun and exciting talks and workshops, and we have a lot of excellent speakers. So we actually have folks from all over, the park. So for example, we have some Canonical employees who are here, from all different parts of the company. So whether you're working on like microcloud, HPC, have something there, Juju as well. And then we also have, some of our core community contributors here as well, like the lead for Ubuntu Studio and the technical lead for Ubuntu, and then also longtime Ubuntu California members, Richard. If you want to raise your hand here, say hi, Richard. Yeah, there he is. So, obviously, first of all, thank you, Richard. We wouldn't be able to be here if you and Nathan didn't do all the work that you did, to make such UbuCon at scale a mainstay. But yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody needs a hype man. So obviously, we're going to have a lot of really great speakers today. So, definitely be sure to stick around. We have plenty of coffee, so why would you ever need to leave? And yeah, just bring your listening ears.
So Jason mentioned we have a lot of awesome talks today. If for some reason you haven't seen the schedule, take a look at the packet you got when you registered. Also, you can go to ubucon.org/scale where you'll find the full schedule and a description of all of our talks. And please note, if you happen to miss a talk, don't worry. All this is going to be live streamed and recorded, so you can watch it later on if for some reason you can't make it to one of the talks. And the Ubuntu Fun doesn't stop after all the talks. We've got an awesome double booth over in the exhibition wing. So please stop by. It's aggressively orange, so there's no way you're going to possibly miss it. And look for Jason's smiling face, and make sure you get yourself some really cool Ubuntu merch while you're there. I want to turn things over to two great guys that Jason already mentioned. This wouldn't be possible without these two amazing community members, Nathan Haynes and Richard Gaskin.
Oh, that's fun. Be smarter than the microphone. We can share.
No, I'm used to the hardware slider.
Oh, they have fancy microphones.
They've upgraded, yeah.
Nothing's but scale.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I've worked with computers and IT professionally this year for 30 years, since high school. I got a job after school at high school, and as usual, when someone says, hey, this isn't working, can you take a look at it? I touch it, and immediately it starts working.
No, and that's, we do this every year, but it really is important. If you've ever tried to set up AV, if you've ever tried to organize an event like this, and this, SCaLE is a public education outreach nonprofit. So everything is recorded and then distributed for free. So this room, this conference, all the talks, all the weekend, and this is all possible because of a lot of technical expertise and discipline for the setup. And AV, the team, makes all this happen. Michael just took me outside for a minute to remind me that we have the mics, we have the full setup, and they've already synced everything this well.
Right.
So I know they get tired of hearing this every year, but I think it's worth it. Can you give AV a round of applause? Because they really earn it.
And what's important to remember and very easy to forget is that SCaLE is and always has been, and just like UbuCon today, run entirely by volunteers. You would never, ever guess it. But that's why this conference remains so friendly and so fun. And so it was really nice when we started. I didn't start UbuCon. Amber Grainer came up with the idea originally. But anyway, she was the one who suggested to me, hey, you're at SCaLE. You think about doing an UbuCon? I said, okay, why not? And came together, and we are all here. We know the Ubuntu community and how wonderful and friendly it is. And I'd been running the booth at SCaLE for a few years already, and we fit right in. SCaLE fits right in. Ubuntu fits right in. It's that spirit of community and companionship and friendship that we really love it here. We've been doing this for a decade at UbuCon.
It's been a little while, and we've had, it's been a long time. And it started with just, Amber Grainer, Nathan picked it up, I picked it up for a while, then it's been a whole lot of us, and an increasing amount of canonical. And that's another acknowledgement that I think is important to have here. I've spent this last year refamiliarizing myself, going with a deep dive in a number of different open source communities, Nextcloud, Drupal, some WordPress, and there is a lot of variety for the governance of open source projects. Some are very healthy, amazingly so. Some are currently undergoing interesting Twitter drama. But I look at how Canonical has been going through all of the transitions over this 20-year period and their relationship with this and other community events around the world. And I look at that governance, how they are a strong company and fostering strong community contribution. Aaron, Jason, the others at Canonical have been doing a great job to bring the resources they have to bear for these community events. And I would say hats off to Canonical for being really good stewards and good examples of open source process.
Absolutely. So this is my 17th year at SCaLE and my 17th year running the Ubuntu booth. And Canonical's always been really great about sending CDs and some swag, and they've always been supporting it in the early days in small ways. And increasingly as Canonical grew and as SCaLE grew in importance, and they've always been very generous with their contributions and their time, and especially with the last UbuCons, they sent people to SCaLE and to give talks and to help out with the booth, and and UbuCon's grown. Mark Shuttleworth actually came here and was the keynote back in I think 2016 for SCaLE, and really liked it, and still loves us. He still asks every time I see him once a year or so, how's it going? How's SCaLE going? It's excellent. And so, I'll disappear a little bit during the afternoon because I'm going to get the booth ready. And like I said, it's a big orange backdrop. The good news, I'm already prepared. We have, you can ask me anything at the booth, ask any booth attendee anything about Ubuntu. And the good news is that when no one hears, everyone's here is friendly and lovely, but when we get some people coming in wanting to rant about SCaLE, so we have that orange backdrop, I'm wearing the shirt, I can just kind of fade back and not move. So when they ask about snaps, just fade back and disappear. Don't move. They can't see you if you don't move. No, we can talk about snaps too. Now when Ubuntu first came out about 20 and almost a half years ago, I thought that sounds great, and I don't think it'll last. And so I didn't start using Ubuntu until the second release, 2 weeks after 5.04. So it'll be in the first weeks of May that I will have been using Ubuntu for 20 years. And I loved it so much, I started getting involved in the community. I said, well, SCaLE invited us, found the Ubuntu California team, and invited us to run a booth. And I've been doing this for 17 years. And thanks largely to my participation here and the warm reception we've had, I became the leader of the Ubuntu California team. I was just a volunteer, early member, and I became that, and I became on the Ubuntu Local Community Council. Now I'm on the Ubuntu Community Council, giving advice to everyone all the time, and even the Ubuntu Summits. It's really funny when people ask me, what's that like? And I'm like, it's a lot like SCaLE, a little more focused, but just really friendly. And so UbuCon here and SCaLE and so on is echoes as we all share one open source community that echoes out, and SCaLE echoes in the Ubuntu community as well. So we hope that we provide something great for you, software and everything, but SCaLE gives back, and so I'm very, very happy to be here.
Now, we do have a lot to cover, and I don't want to eat up time.
Yeah.
But I do want to I want to go back. I don't think we need to go back to the physical slide because you remember it. It was a memorable map. We saw the world map. We saw Ubuntu-focused events around the world. We have one of our regulars here, I think, from Arizona. Is that right? We have a person here from Edinburgh. We have people from all over for the ones here in Pasadena. There are several events from around the world. I have a vision, and you can help make it happen. I would like to have a year of endless Ubuntu summer, where I can take the year and just visit UbuCons all over the planet, and let's have a season of UbuCon that never ends for a whole year as we go around the planet. And now that UbuCons are becoming a global conspiracy, a global actuality, then we can make that happen. But as you return to your communities, if you want to create even small events in your place where just people come and gather at a cafe once a month and just hang out, do troubleshooting, talk about how computing affects their lives, what matters, what doesn't matter, privacy concerns, just all the things that open source can bring, and you're not sure how to get started, reach out to Nathan and I. We have contact information through the website, through SCaLE's stuff and through UbuCon, and we are happy to help you do whatever you want to do to make any organization of any size, any sort of gathering, because there's so much to be had. We had for many years an Ubuntu Hour here in Pasadena. I learned so much from that. And we would have people that would bring their laptop and say, what is up with this audio driver on this model? And then we'd have a couple of geniuses just flip their cap around backwards, dive in, and boom, that thing's working. So we had a lot of good times. If you have any interest in doing this sort of thing in your community, let us know, and if we can help.
Yep. I did an Ubuntu Hour in Lake Forest for just over a year and just went to Panera after work one day, I think a week. And there were about 4 or 5 people just came and hung out, chit-chatted, and I wanted to know, well, what's new, and I would just, maybe bring their laptop. It's just as little as that, and that's valuable. And this started small, 1 room, couple speakers, and we've been large rooms and breakout rooms and 2 tracks and several days. And, it goes big and little, but all those contributions all help. They're all fun. And the biggest thing is about spending time with each other and more community. Online community is vast and huge, and we have people to talk about that here today, but also the little ones count too. It's all, the important thing is have fun and help each other. So,
And I think we're ready to go, so we should probably shut up. I will just end with this last
It's that time?
invitation. If, for those of you who are staying beyond SCaLE and you have questions about things you might do in and around the Pasadena area, I'm very local and happy to help. I'll be sort of a Pasadena ambassador if I can help. So we'll just leave it at that and get on with the real stuff.
Thank you, guys. So